Hello, ghosties. You're listening to Not My Ghost.
Not My Problem. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Jen.
Whether you're a skeptic, a true believer, or somewhere in between, join us for a journey into the unknown.
Because remember, when it comes to the paranormal, it may not be our problem.
But it's certainly someone's problem.
Kelly, we're here.
We are here.
It's about time.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It has. All of that hard work we did when you were here visiting, be ahead of our episodes and be 4 or 5 episodes ahead, all gone.
All of it's gone?
Well, not all of it. We're still 2 weeks ahead.
Well, okay. Well, we can record a lot next week and get it back up there.
Yeah, I like being 4 or 5 episodes ahead, just so when things like this happen.
Right. It was just unfortunate that we got 4 or 5 weeks ahead, and then the things that put us behind happened immediately.
Right away. We didn't have a lot of wiggle room. I caught up on editing the episodes, I posted them, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. And then we didn't record for 2 weeks.
Because I got sick, very sick, and I lost my voice and other stuff. Other stuff, man. We're humans. We have families. We have lives. Shit happens, but we're here.
Mostly Kelly. I haven't really had anything going on. My life's pretty boring.
Yeah, there's just been a lot. So we're here and we're going to catch back up. And if we don't catch back up, you'll never know because you're still getting an episode every week.
Exactly.
Even if we have to rush editing and approving and posting, you'll still get it.
Yeah.
It'll still be great.
Yeah. We literally have recorded an episode on Sunday before and released it on Wednesday.
Yes.
It's happened at least twice. Mostly when an episode doesn't record right and then we have to go back and re-record it because we had bad audio or some other technical shit.
Yep.
Okay, Kelly. Well, welcome to our, not you, welcome, you were already here, but welcome to our ghosties, to our scripted, unscripted banter.
Yeah. Do you have a question?
I do have a question.
Woohoo.
So this question is kind of themed around our episode today.
Okay.
If you had to pick one of these world famous celebrations to experience, which one would you go for and why? Carnival in Rio, Oktoberfest in Germany, Day of the Dead in Mexico, St. Patrick's Day in Ireland, Chinese New Year in Beijing, or Mardi Gras in New Orleans.
Okay, it's going to be a close tie between Oktoberfest in Germany and St. Patrick's Day in Ireland. I'm not sure Ireland does St. Patrick's Day the way we do St. Patrick's Day, though.
Probably not.
I think that we make it this big thing that the Irish are like, all right.
Yeah, it's just a day.
It's just,
I don't know.
Well, our country, one of the greatest things about it is it's like, oh, can we drink more this day?
Yeah.
Oh,
let's do it.
Can our regular beer be green beer? I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in. Oh, I forgot one. Cinco de Mayo in Mexico, another Mexican holiday.
I feel like I got to go big. I don't know. I feel like Mexico's close, so I could reasonably get to some of those,
That's fair.
But for me, I don't know, man. Oktoberfest in Germany might win. Of course, there are Irish guys in Ireland, and that's always a strong pull for me.
That is a strong pull.
Can I do both in one trip?
They're not close in the time frame. St. Patrick's Day is in March.
I guess I have to stay.
Oktoberfest is in October.
I guess I have to stay in Europe that whole time. Will that work?
Yeah, the whole time. Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, then I'm down. I'm going to go to St. Patrick's Day in Ireland first. Okay. And I'm going to just spend a couple months there with the Irishmen.
Can I come?
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm going to listen to these Irishmen talk.
Love it.
Probably listen to an Irish woman talk too. Here,
Talk.
couple of them in.
Talk. Right. Just
then
talk. That's it. That's all I want to do with them is talk.
Well, I'm married, so I can only talk. But I can be a great wing woman for you.
Perfect. Love it.
And then I shall head on over to Germany for Oktoberfest, where I will last 10 minutes before I'm too drunk to do anything else. But you'll be with me.
I will. And I'll carry you around.
I did pretty good when I was out with you, though.
You did. I don't know if I could keep up with Oktoberfest in Germany. So you really can.
Yeah.
Okay. So mine, if I'm just going for the party, I have to do Carnival in Rio.
I don't know much about it, to be honest with you, too.
So there is this movie, and now it's an animated movie, and now I can't think what it is, but it's about this rare bird that gets lost. Rio. It's called Rio. That's why I can't. The name Rio.
I've seen it long ago with the kids.
That makes me want to see Carnival.
I don't remember a thing about it.
Grand old time.
I don't remember a thing about it except there was a bird named Rio.
The weather's nicer, I think. So I'm a beach girl. Well, I'm a blue water type of beach than where there's no waves. I'm that type of beach girl. So I think that would be fun. I like the sun. But if I'm going cultural and just interest, then I would love to see a Day of the Dead.
It would be interesting.
Also learned about that from a movie. Well, I knew about it before, but learned about a lot of it from a movie of I'm all about movies over here. Animated movies.
Being honest, the only one I wouldn't be interested in doing is Mardi Gras in New Orleans.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
Yeah, just
because today we are diving into the eerie side of Mardi Gras.
I can learn about it. That's fascinating to me. But just like out of the list of those things, like that would be very bottom.
So I have been to New Orleans like 2 or 3 weeks before Mardi Gras. That was the only time I've been to New Orleans. So I got to see it decorated. But from what I've heard, it is insanity.
That's kind of why I don't think I'd want to go.
Yeah, I would only want to go if I had like a solid place to stay and I didn't like have to really leave or worry about driving. I could just like enjoy it from my balcony of a hotel.
Sure. I would be fine with that. But it would still be probably bottom of the list for me because it's in New Orleans, man. I want to go somewhere else. I don't want to be stuck here in the U.S. when I'm experiencing something great.
See, I do want to go to all 50 states eventually, but I already have been to Louisiana and I've been to New Orleans. So yeah, I agree. It would definitely be lowest on my list just because I've been to New Orleans. But I do eventually, I'm at 26 out of 50. So I'm a little over halfway there. I do eventually want to go to all 50 states.
I've been to like 4.
Yeah, it's more than that.
I've driven through a lot of states. I don't know if that counts as being in the state.
Feet on the ground.
Well, I have walked into rest areas in
then you
a bunch of states.
I have been to Vermont, and all we did was from New York, drove to Vermont, drove over a bridge, got out in a parking lot, took some pictures, got back in, and drove back.
I did just recently add Mississippi and Alabama to my list.
Oh, those are 2 I don't have.
When I was going to visit my friend Michelle, who lives in Pensacola, Nick was coming with me, and we watch a TV show called Hometown. It's like a home decorating show, and they live in Laurel, Mississippi. They've done so much in their town. We wanted to go and like see the things that they've done.
Oh, that's cool.
So we flew into Jackson, Mississippi, and then we went to Laurel and spent the afternoon there. And then we drove through Alabama to get to Pensacola.
Yeah.
And I did go to a Buc-ee's in Alabama. So I have been there.
There you go. You have been there. That's all that matters. Feet on the ground.
That's right.
There are definitely some of those states that I haven't been to yet that'll just be a drive-through. Like, I don't really need to see anything there.
Yeah. Well, Buc-ee's was pretty great to see because I had never seen one before, and it was magical.
Yeah, we never went to the Buc-ee's here, did we?
No.
Okay, I need to take you. I mean, it's probably the same as the one in Alabama, but yeah, it's a novelty if you've never seen it. I literally live down the road from it, so to me, it's like, Buc-ee's cause a lot of traffic.
We didn't know that we would be going by a Buc-ee's. And I just happened to look up from my phone and saw it. And I smacked my poor husband. And I was like, Buc-ee's! And he was like, should I pull over? Should I go? And I was like, take the exit.
So you mean they didn't have it advertising on the highway for miles and miles and miles saying Buc-ee's in 50 miles, Buc-ee's in 30 miles?
I was looking at my phone most of the time.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, again, it's a cool place, but I live down the road from one, so it's kind of worn off on me. It just, like I said, causes a lot of traffic to where I need to get to.
Yeah.
Okay, well, are you ready to dive into the eerie side of Mardi Gras?
You know it.
Okay, well, Mardi Gras is known for its vibrant parades, wild celebrations, and rich traditions. But there is more to the party than meets the eye. Beyond the beads and the mask, this centuries-old festival has deep historical roots. From ancient pagan rituals to ghostly encounters along the parade routes, the spirits of Mardi Gras may be more literal than we realize. In this episode, we're unraveling the origins of this legendary festival, exploring its traditions, and diving into the haunted side of the celebration. So grab a slice of king cake, hold on to your mask, and get ready for a journey through the history, mystery, and the ghostly legends of Mardi Gras.
Is a king cake the one they put the little baby Jesus in, and whoever gets a slice with the baby Jesus has to make tamales? Or am I thinking of something completely different?
I think you might be crossing things. So okay. Yes, a king cake does have a baby in it. I've never heard it referred to as baby Jesus. I could be wrong.
I thought maybe I might be imposing that because it was like a king cake, and I thought like...
And there's nothing to do with tamales.
So I think that in Mexican culture, they have something like that, and then whoever gets the baby has to then make tamales.
So for the king cake, whoever gets the baby has to buy the next king cake.
Oh, well, I like tamales, so I would like to make tamales, please.
Okay, sure. You can make tamales.
I don't really think I'm not making this up. There's something about a cake that you cut that has a baby in it, and then if you get the baby, you have to make the tamales. And I don't know why that would have anything to do with New Orleans, because it's definitely more of like a Hispanic thing. But we are where we are, is all I can say.
We are where we are, Kelly. Well,
I'm going to look that shit up while you're talking.
Yeah, go ahead. We're going to have our fun facts. So Mardi Gras parades are famous for their elaborate floats, showcasing their creativity and craftsmanship. One of the most iconic floats is the Butterfly King Float, which has been a staple in New Orleans parades since 1959. This float features a massive butterfly with a wingspan of over 30 feet, adorned with thousands of lights and intricate designs. Its grandeur and scale make it a standout in the Mardi Gras lineup.
I have some information.
Okay.
The Mexican tradition of a cake with a hidden baby inside is called, well, I'm going to say it wrong, but Rocha de Reyes, which is eaten on January 6th to celebrate the three wise men.
My birthday.
Yeah.
No, it's to celebrate my birthday.
When the wise men visit baby Jesus. So I think that's where I had the baby Jesus thing, and it's a baby figure. And it says that whoever finds the baby figurine in their slice is traditionally responsible for hosting a party on February 2nd.
Groundhog's Day.
But I know that you make tamales because I follow somebody on YouTube that's a white man that married into a Mexican family. And of course, he found the damn baby. So then the white man had to make tamales for all of his Mexican family. And they made a video about it. And it was pretty funny. And he did a great job. So.
Okay, cool. There you have it. You heard it here first. Or probably not, but
and
maybe.
You probably heard it this is, how accurate is this? We can't say.
We don't know. She did a quick Google search. We did not fact check. Don't come at us. We never pretend to be 100% accurate all the time.
Half the time.
We try. Most of the time. No, we do our research, Kelly.
We do.
Just not for that. Okay, next fact. Mardi Gras has some record-breaking moments. In 2019, the crew of Iris, an all-female Mardi Gras organization, set the Guinness World Record by throwing the most beads from a float in a single parade. They tossed over, are you ready for this, Kelly?
I'm ready.
1.5 million strands of beads.
Tossed, or did they have like a catapult where they just loaded them up and threw them into the crowd?
It said tossed.
That's a lot of titties.
It didn't say that you had to flash to get the beads.
Well, I mean, that is the tradition.
It is the tradition, but I'm sure that's not the only reason people get beads.
I'm just saying, there was a lot of titties, and I wouldn't have minded being on that float.
Yeah, it'd be a fun float to be on.
Yes, it would.
I'm cool with it.
Show me your titties, I'll give you some beads. I like it.
Yeah, me too. The practice of throwing beads and trinkets from parade floats has evolved from the 19th century, where aristocrats threw flowers, almonds, and medallions into the crowd to show goodwill. Over time, these items transformed into the colorful beads we see today.
Did you say almonds?
Almonds?
Almonds.
Almonds? Whatever. Fuck you. I'm going to call it what I want to call it.
All right, fine. I've never heard anybody say L. Do you pronounce the L in salmon?
No, but my mom does, and it's hilarious.
My cousin does. Salmon.
Salmon. I always try to correct her because so our dogs are on salmon food. And she switches back and forth for the wet food between salmon and lamb. And I'm like, oh, is it? And her one dog doesn't like salmon as much. And I'm like, oh, is it a salmon day? And she's like, yeah, it's a salmon day. And I'm like, salmon, Mom. She doesn't get it.
God love her.
I do. It's cool. Okay, scary facts.
Woohoo!
In the Treem neighborhood, the North Side Skull and Bone Gang has been a Mardi Gras tradition for over 2 centuries.
What a great band name. The North Side Skull and Bone Gang? Holy shit.
Sounds great.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's okay. At dawn on Mardi Gras, members dress as skeletons and roam the streets, reminding residents of their mortality with chants like, if you don't live right, the Bone Man is coming for ya. The ritual is rooted in African spirituality and is believed to awaken ancestral spirits to join the festivities.
I ain't afraid of no Bone Man.
Come at me, Bone Man. The Mardi Gras Indians, which is an African-American tribe in New Orleans, don elaborate handmade costumes and parade through the streets. Their traditions pay homage to the Native Americans who aided escaped slaves. Some believe that during their procession, the spirits of the ancestors march alongside them, drawn by the rhythmic drumming and chanting.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that. And our last scary fact is in rural Louisiana, the Couvre de Mardi Gras is the traditional Mardi Gras run where participants dress in colorful, often masked costumes and go from house to house seeking ingredients for a communal gumbo. This practice has roots in medieval French traditions and is infused with elements that some believe connect participants to the spirit world, blurring the lines between the living and the dead during the celebration.
That's interesting. I did not. Okay, so I know that Mardi Gras is this thing that happens in New Orleans, and I know that it is somehow connected to Lent.
Yes,
in the Catholic
we'll get to that.
faith. And other than that, I know drinking, titties, and beads.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, we're going to learn a lot more about it today, Kelly.
I do love that the Catholic tradition of Lent is tied in with drinking, titties, and beads, by the way.
Me too. I love it.
I think it's pretty awesome.
Me too.
Catholics like those things.
Yeah, just secretly.
I don't think they need to like it secretly. Well, listen.
They don't have to.
Catholics drink freely.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't hide drinking at all.
That's true.
Beads, I don't think you need to worry about the beads. Maybe it depends on who you are about liking the titties.
That's fair. Okay, so we are going to dive into the history of Mardi Gras, which is also known as Fat Tuesday, and how it went from the ancient celebration to the iconic party that we know today. Mardi Gras didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It actually has very deep roots in ancient Roman festivals. And you have probably heard of the holidays Saturnalia and Lupercalia.
Yes.
Okay. Well, these were wild celebrations with feasting, dancing, and role reversals. Saturnalia happened in December, while Lupercalia took place in February and had a focus on purification and fertility rituals. These festivals were all about letting loose, so there was a lot of drinking, masquerading, and just letting go of the usual rules. When Christianity spread, instead of getting rid of these pagan traditions, they just decided to kind of fold them in to the Christian calendar. You just got to fold in the cheese, Kelly.
That's so unlike Christians to just take over a pagan tradition and try to fold in their religion into it. It's unheard of.
You just got to fold in the cheese.
Yeah.
Please tell me you get that reference.
I know. No, I guess
you
not.
I didn't know it was fold in the cheese reference.
I didn't know it was a specific reference, but I know what folding something into a recipe is.
Well,
listen to you. You're like, well.
Moira Rose did not know what folding in the cheese was.
Who the hell is that?
Kelly.
Yes.
Are you telling me that you have not watched Schitt's Creek?
I have not.
I'm sorry, everyone. This podcast is now over because Kelly and I can no longer be friends. Our friendship just ended right here on the podcast. That's it. It's over. I'm sorry.
Man, I'm so nice to you too.
Stay spooky, everyone.
And stay skeptical.
Okay, you need to watch Schitt's Creek like yesterday.
Okay, but I just told you that I have a show now that I got sucked into.
I don't care.
But I want to finish the show that I'm watching.
You said this show is 6 seasons, Kelly. I can't wait that long.
Well, how long? Where? Okay. Well, I got questions. We'll answer them off air because this already. I am interrupting all the time. This whole show has gone off the rails. So I'm just going to shut up and listen and learn about Mardi Gras.
Okay. We'll talk off the air about Schitt's Creek. Everybody, if you're listening, like we do have some listeners. Anyone who is listening, if you're listening,
you're here, but you're not listening.
That's possible. Do you have ADHD like me and have to rewind the episode 8 times to go back and hear what you missed? Okay, anyone who is listening, please yell at Kelly in the comments on our social media and tell her how amazing Schitt's Creek is and that she needs to watch it.
Or you could be nice.
Well, okay.
You don't have to yell at me.
Be nice loudly.
That's yelling.
No, it's not. I'm loud all the time, but I'm not always yelling.
That's true.
Okay. We got way off topic. Sorry about that. Yeah, no. Christians have never stolen any pagan traditions ever in the history of ever. So it's a weird thing that they would claim that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to fast forward a little bit to when we get to the Catholic influence, because Catholics are even more famous for stealing things. So as Christianity was growing, the church was like, hey, let's make these wild pagan traditions and tie them into something a little bit more meaningful. Enter Mardi Gras. Now, Mardi Gras is the day before Ash Wednesday, and it is all about the big last hurrah right before Lent begins, which is, for those who don't know, is a time for fasting and penance leading up to Easter. The name Mardi Gras is actually French and means Fat Tuesday. This is a time where people eat up all of those rich and fatty foods before you have to give them up for Lent. So people would clean out their pantries, using up all their butter, eggs, and sugar, because why not make a big old feast before you're sucked into eating more simple food?
Well, it's interesting because you don't have to just fast food. Like you can choose to fast, like some people give up alcohol for Lent.
Yeah. Well, same thing. You're then going to just drink all your liquor that you have in your cabinet.
It's whatever you're giving up.
Yeah. It's just many people give up something, whether they're like food or alcohol or some type of party thing that they're giving up. So, and traditionally it is food or alcohol, which is why this is the big like last hurrah right before Lent.
Okay.
So it was the French explorers that brought Mardi Gras to North America. We all know New Orleans has a lot of French ties. So on March 3rd, 1699, a French-Canadian explorer named Jean-Baptiste Le Moyne Sieur de Bainville.
Sure.
And I'm sure I said that wrong. I apologize.
It was perfect.
Perfect French. Yeah. He arrived at a spot about 60 miles south of what is now New Orleans, and he named it Point de Mardi Gras because it was the night before Mardi Gras. In 1702, Beanville had set up the first permanent settlement in Alabama at what is now Mobile, and boom, America's first Mardi Gras celebration went down right there, which I was shocked that the first Mardi Gras celebration didn't happen in Louisiana, in New Orleans.
Yeah, I did not know that.
It was kind of weird that it was somewhere else. But New Orleans is where Mardi Gras really went to the next level. It was founded in 1718, and New Orleans quickly became the center of the Mardi Gras celebrations in the U.S. Thanks to the city's French roots and a strong Catholic population, the holiday exploded. And by the 1730s, Mardi Gras was an open celebration in New Orleans with fancy society balls and all the glitz. Now, if we're going back to our question from Scripted Unscripted Banter, I might want to change my answer if I can go back to the 1730s to observe Mardi Gras, because I think that would be fascinating.
Yes, but then we have to build a time machine.
Well, you know.
And time travel's iffy. You don't want to change, like, you know.
Yeah, I know. I watch Doctor Who, Kelly. I know.
You might change something and then you end up with like a psychopathic maniac as president. Wait.
Maybe we don't end up with a psychopathic maniac. Let's go back in time. Then came the Crews. Now, the Crews are social clubs that popped up in the 1800s, and they brought some organization and structure to the whole event. This is where the parades, the balls, and the float designs started to come in. And from there, it only grew. Today, New Orleans is home to these legendary parades and the over-the-top costumes, and they attract millions of people every year. So Mardi Gras went from ancient pagan roots to a massive cultural event, and it is still going strong today. Now we're going to break down some of the traditions and symbols that make Mardi Gras special. The Mardi Gras colors are purple, green, and gold. And they weren't always part of the deal. They didn't really start happening until 1872, when the Rex Parade, which is one of the biggest parades in New Orleans, chose to honor a special guest, the Russian Grand Duke Alexei Alexandrovich. And so we're going to fast forward to 1892. And during these Rex parades, these colors were officially given meaning. Purple stands for justice. Green represents faith. And gold is all about power. And ever since, these colors have been tied to Mardi Gras.
Huh.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So they just assign the meanings then. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't really go into, I mean, I'm sure I could probably have dug a little deeper, but didn't really go into.
Who has time for that? I've interrupted you like 8,000 times.
Exactly. I can't go into too much more history. Now, Mardi Gras is famous for mask, right? People are wearing costumes and elaborate masks, and they kind of give people the freedom to step outside of their normal roles. So it didn't really matter who you were or what you did for a living. Once you put on that mask, you could party without any type of judgment. So over time, these masks went from simple coverings to these amazing, creative, and over-the-top designs that show off people's personalities and add a whole colorful vibe to the celebration, which I thought was really cool. Yeah. I mean, I can see it, but I guess I never really made that connection that that's why masks were kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I guess if you're flashing your titties to the parade to get some beads, it's probably better if you have a mask on.
Yeah, it would give you a little bit of anonymity. So
yeah. And you can't have Mardi Gras without this sweet ring-shaped pastry, the king cake. So this actually comes from Epiphany traditions from back in the day, and it is decorated in the iconic Mardi Gras colors. And inside the cake, there is a tiny trinket, usually a little plastic baby, as we talked about before. Now, this tradition says that whoever finds the baby in their slice has to do one of two things. host the next king cake party, or provide the next king cake. So this is just kind of a funny way to keep the party going and keep the community spirit alive. Then there are the crews and the parades. So crews are basically Mardi Gras version of social clubs. They plan the parades, throw the epic parties, and come up with the themes for these floats and costume. Each crew kind of has its own different vibe, and some have pretty strict membership rules. The whole idea of crews goes way back to the mid-1800s with the Mystic Crew of Comus, founded in 1856. This group pretty much laid the groundwork for all the parade and float traditions that we still see today. So, yeah, crews are kind of a big thing within the Mardi Gras tradition, which I had never heard of that because, again, I didn't know much more about Mardi Gras than what most people know.
Yeah.
But there is a darker side to Mardi Gras, Kelly.
Okay. Now, this is probably kind of why I would not want to go there, too, because I know there's a lot of crime, but I don't know if we're talking paranormal darker or regular darker.
Both.
Or both.
But first, we're going to talk about the crime, the chaos, and some of the disasters that happen around Mardi Gras.
Okay.
So while it is a time for celebration, it is not without its darker moments. In the 1800s, this festival was often marred by violence and chaos. There were instances of riots, brawls, and even deadly confrontations during the parades. Do you mean to say that this big party where people just can put on a mask and do whatever the fuck they want and get drunk has crime?
Say it ain't so.
No way.
People aren't on their absolute best behavior?
Right. I don't believe it. So the unregulated nature of Mardi Gras celebrations sometimes can lead to that lawlessness, where people are engaging in drunken brawls and sometimes property damage. One of the most tragic events occurred in 1856 when a float carrying the Queen of the Carnival caught fire during the parade. Now, the flames spread rapidly, causing panic and resulting in several injuries and deaths. And this incident did lead to some increased safety measures and regulations for future parades.
I can see that.
So that's good, at least. Did you know that Mardi Gras also has a connection to pirates?
I did not.
No, I didn't either. So I would have been surprised if you did.
Yeah. I'm learning a lot about pirates because I don't want to tell you how old I was before I realized pirates weren't just things in kids' shows.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
I was I was too old when I was like, oh, pirates were real.
Yeah.
And they're still pirates.
Yes.
I was too old when I worked that out in my very tiny little brain.
That's fair. That's fair. I was today years old, one of those moments.
Yeah. I mean, I can't know everything about everything all the time.
You can't. You can't. That's fair. If the pirate looks like Captain Jack Sparrow, they can board my ship whenever they want.
You'll walk the plank? Is that what you're saying?
I'll walk the plank for Captain Jack Sparrow. I'll make sure I bring the rum and he'll keep me around because I have the rum.
Okay.
And I know Johnny Depp is like almost twice my age, but I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So John Lafitte, who is a notorious pirate and privateer, played a significant role in the history of Mardi Gras. In the early 19th century, Lafitte operated in the Gulf of Mexico, engaging in smuggling and privateering.
Interesting.
Sorry. Very angry about the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, I'm not angry about the Gulf of Mexico because the Gulf of Mexico is great, just the way it is.
No, absolutely. The Gulf of Mexico is wonderful.
It's perfect.
And it is the Gulf of Mexico and will forever be referred to as the Gulf of Mexico.
I will tell you this. When they start calling trans people by their chosen names, then maybe I'll consider not calling the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of Mexico. Until they can respect trans people, they can fuck right off.
Agreed. John Lafitte His base of operation was in Barataria Bay near New Orleans, where he and his brother, Pierre, ran a privateering cooperative that provided contraband goods to a hungry market, which I think is a great thing.
Yeah.
They're like Robin Hooding out there.
Sure.
Stealing from the rich and giving to the poor.
What a good pirate.
That's what Jesus would do. Lafitte's connection to Mardi Gras is highlighted by the Crew of Lafitte, a Mardi Gras organization named in his honor. This crew celebrates his legacy by incorporating pirate themes into their parades and events, blending the city's rich history with the festive spirits of Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras in New Orleans is not only a time of vibrant celebrations, but also a period rich with the tales of the supernatural.
My favorite.
Now we're getting into the spookies. We're going to talk about the paranormal aspects associated with this iconic festival.
The most important aspect.
The most important aspects. So in Merle's Jackson Square, which is located at 801 Charles Street, basically this is situated in the heart of the French Quarter. Merle's Jackson Square is a renowned Creole restaurant known for its rich history and elegant dining experience.
I want to go.
Me too.
Not during Mardi Gras.
No. I've been to a lot of places in New Orleans, but I couldn't tell you any of their names. So I might have been.
Oh, okay.
There is one restaurant in there that has a, what's that?
I don't know.
Merry-go-round.
I would have.
It has a merry-go-round as the bar.
Okay.
Do you like my hand motions?
Yeah, like
they were going around.
Okay. Could
so
you
it has
sit
a
on it?
merry-go-round. Yes, and the bar went around like a merry-go-round.
Okay, that's really fucking cool.
It was, and I only got to see it because it was very busy when we went, but I did get to see it. I did not get to sit at the bar, but it was really pretty. I'm sure I could probably find a picture if I go back far enough. So anyway, this building dates back to the 18th century and was once the residence of Pierre Antoine Lepardi Jordan. Y'all, I'm just the best at French, so just sorry for showing y'all up about my amazing French accent and pronunciation. I know y'all are a little jealous.
I took a year of French in high school, and I approve her pronunciations.
Perfect. Yeah, you heard it here. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1814, after losing the property in a poker game, Jordan tragically took his own life on the second floor. Please do not bet properties in poker games. Just a word to the wise.
Also, please do not take your own life.
That as well. Yeah. Don't do that either. So many believe that Jordan's spirit remains within this establishment. Staff and guests have reported unexplained phenomena. Such as objects moving on their own and disembodied voices. The restaurant has embraced its special resident by maintaining a seance lounge and setting a table with bread and wine nightly to appease Jordan's spirit. I think that sounds like a really fun place to go.
Yeah.
I want to go into the seance lounge.
Do we get to eat the bread and drink the wine?
I don't think that bread and wine, but I'm sure they have bread and wine we can eat and drink.
Okay. Because I'm down for the paranormal, and I'm definitely down for the bread and wine.
Yeah. But we don't want to drink Jordan's bread and wine. That's for him.
No, that's out of respect. Yes.
We'll get our own and we'll join him in the seance room.
Okay.
Next is, and I apologize, y'all. I'm sorry. Next is La Petite Theatre de Viexieri.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of accents over letters in this name. And I don't know what those mean. At that location, which is at 616 St. Peter Street in New Orleans. And this was established in 1916. And it is one of the oldest community theaters in the United States. And it offers a ton of different performances in a very historical setting. Now, over its long history, this theater has been the site of numerous performances and events, and some believe that the emotional energy from these performances, combined with the building's age, has led to spiritual residuals. Actors and staff have reported unexplained occurrences, including mysterious footsteps. What was that?
I don't know.
I feel like I always say that. Like after a noise happens, you're silent and are looking around. And then I say, what was that?
I don't know.
Okay.
But it sounded close.
It did sound very close.
Somebody's in the bathroom next to me, but I don't think it sounded closer than in another room through a wall.
Yeah.
But I it sounded like it was right here.
It
like
did.
Right
I thought like it might have been like a chapstick falling over or a pen or something.
I don't know. No. I mean, okay, I've got stuff on my desk. I don't know if it's moved or not.
Okay, that's fair. Actors and staff have reported unexplained occurrences, including mysterious footsteps, apparitions in period clothing, and the feeling of being watched from balconies. These experiences are especially noted during the late night rehearsals. Which, as someone who did theater in high school, I can tell you during those late night rehearsals, which we didn't do very often because we were in high school, but right before we did the play, we would stay till like 8 o'clock every night to just do several run throughs like the week of. It's scary being in like, especially once people start to like leave and because I was always one of the last people to leave. And it can get a little freaky when you're back there, backstage, especially, and no one else is around.
Yeah, I can understand the air of creepiness, but...
Yeah. I just think theaters in general, there's just something about them. Because I think most people feel that theaters should always be packed with people. So when you're in them and it's empty, there's just that like weirdness to it. Like there'd be times where even in like the middle of the day, like I would have to run down and grab something that we would need and go back into the theater, like the green room or whatever. And it was spooky. Like again, middle of the day, broad daylight, and you're just backstage by yourself. It's scary.
Yeah, I can see it.
Next, we have Per Antone's Alley, which is a narrow passage between St. Louis Cathedral and the Cabadillo in the French Quarter. Now, this alley is named after Pierre Antoine, who is a beloved Spanish Capuchin friar who served in New Orleans during the late 18th century and early 19th century. Now, he was known for his dedication to the local community, and after his death, legends popped up of his spirit lingering in the area that kind of continuing to watch over his parishioners. Now, visitors have reported sightings of spectral figures resembling the friar walking the alley, especially during the early morning and late evening hours. Some have also experienced sudden drops in temperature and the faint scent of incense.
Okay, we know that ghosts of kids are always terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about a spectral figure of a priest, just like walking, like
he's a friar. It's a little different.
Is it different?
I don't know. I don't know what the rules are for friars.
Now I got to see, is a friar a priest?
Off to Google.
They can be a priest, but not all friars are priests.
So are all priest friars?
I don't know, but he had parishioners, so we're going to go with priest.
Yeah.
Okay. And any person in religious garb, be it a nun or just.
To be fair, though, I don't want to see them living either.
I don't want them to die.
No, I don't want them to die. I just don't want to encounter them, whether they are alive or dead.
But if you were standing somewhere at night and you just saw a real priest walk by, you're not going to jump back and scream in horror.
I might, Kelly, if I'm by myself at night.
Well, I didn't say did I say by yourself?
I don't know. I'm just assuming I'm by myself.
I don't know. I think you have friends. I don't know.
I mean, let's be real. If I'm in an alleyway by myself or even with you, I'd rather see the ghost of a priest than an actual priest. Because the ghost of the priest can't hurt me. An actual priest might. I mean, honestly, not even just priest, like any man. I wouldn't want to run into any male figure in an alleyway at night, whether they were a priest or not.
I don't mean like right coming at you, just off in the distance.
Okay, well.
Listen, what I'm trying to say is, Jesus Christ, I think any kind of holy person in their religious garb as a spectral figure is terrifying.
Okay.
That's my point.
Sure. I don't see it. I'm going to chase after them and be like, talk to me. Sorry. Anyway, next place is...
This episode is just off the rails.
It is. We were just both talking before this episode that our ADHD has been really bad lately. So I'm going to say, no, we don't apologize. You know what? You get what you get. Y'all know what you got in for.
Should I tell them how bad mine was with the microwave?
Yes, please do.
Yeah. So the other day I put my tea in the microwave for 25 seconds to warm it up. And 25 seconds later, when the microwave beeped, I yelled to everybody else in the house, whoever just put something in the microwave, it's ready.
Good job.
Yeah,
so I didn't tell you this, but I don't know what made me remember it. But the other day, so when I make Ellie's food in the morning, I put a little hot water in it just to kind of soften it up and help release the smell. It makes it a little bit more appetizing for her. And the other day I walked away. I usually do it as I'm like making my coffee. So I'm standing right there. But I did it, and then I like went back into the bathroom, did my hair, brushed my teeth, whatever. And then I started working, and like an hour went by, and then I look up and I see her food sitting on the counter, and I'm like, oh fuck. So at that point, it was gone. I had to throw it away because it was like mush. So I threw it away. I did it again, and I forgot it again. Ellie didn't eat breakfast until like noon when I finally remembered.
Poor Ellie.
I know. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's what you guys are dealing with right now.
Yeah, it's been bad.
It has. And we're both unmedicated. Anyway, next location is the Gardette La Petra Mansion, which is also known as what?
Perfect pronunciation. I just wanted to approve.
You. I thought you were yelling at me for mispronunciation. I'm like, fuck that.
No.
Also known as the Sultan's Palace. And this is located at 716 Dauphin Street in New Orleans. And this is a grand mansion that was built in the 1830s. And it features some ornate ironwork and a distinct facade, making it a standout structure in the French Quarter. Now, according to legend, this mansion was once rented by a wealthy man who claimed to be a sultan from the Middle East. He was known for hosting lavish parties, and one morning, neighbors discovered the entire household had been massacred under mysterious circumstances, with the sultan buried alive in the courtyard.
Did they unbury him?
I don't know. It didn't say. Maybe by the time they found him, he was dead, but they could tell he was buried alive.
Maybe he died of everlasting faint.
That's probably it. Everlasting faint. Residents and visitors have reported hearing exotic music, seeing apparitions in Middle Eastern attire, and experiencing an overwhelming sense of dread in certain areas of the mansion. Now, Kelly, this sultan was probably just a fly in the ointment.
Probably.
Yeah.
I will say I have questions when people say that somebody is seen in like Middle Eastern attire. Like, is it always the same attire? Because in my previous home, there were a couple of spirits, but everybody that saw them wearing the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I always find it interesting. Like,
yeah, it's interesting. I guess depends on when they're reporting. Some people might not be as specific, so it might be hard to tell. But yeah, you would think that the ghosts have to be in the entire what they died in, right?
You would think. I mean,
yeah. I mean, Trevor from Ghost doesn't wear pants.
That's right. He doesn't have pants
because
on
he died without pants.
Right. Being the nicest guy ever, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you could. I mean, I personally would love to be able to change. I feel like that's a lot of pressure that if I were to die like now, like every day you have to get up thinking like this could be what my ghost is going to wear for eternity.
I'm wearing a water truck ghosty shirt, so
I love it.
I would be a ghost wearing a shirt with a ghost.
Yeah, I got my Love is Love shirt is on, so I'd go fuck some people up with this. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Actually, but I'm just going to wear this shirt every day.
For the rest of your life.
For the rest of my life, I'll just have this, be able to walk into places where people are being hateful, and I'll be like, bam, read my shirt.
Bam.
Read the ghost's shirt. Bam.
Bam.
If anyone notices that Kelly and I sometimes throw in random words and phrases that you might not have any idea what they mean,
join our Patreon.
Because we talk about it in our Patreon episodes. So unless you join, you're just going to be left in the dark.
That's right. Don't bamf it up.
Next location is Gallier Hall, which is located at 545 Charles Avenue. Now, this was completed in 1853, and it served as New Orleans City Hall for over a century. And it is a prime example of Greek Revival architecture. Today, it functions as a venue for various events and ceremonies. Now, given its role in the city's history, Gallier Hall has been the site of several significant events, including funerals and political gatherings, and some believe that the spirits of individuals connected to these events linger within its halls. Witnesses have described unexplained noises, such as footsteps and murmured conversations, especially in the building's upper floors. Some have also reported seeing shadowy figures and experiencing sudden cold spots.
I love me a good shadowy figure.
I love me a sudden cold spot.
Because you live in Florida.
Yeah, exactly. I could just want to have a ghost that follows me around to cool me down all the time. That'd be great.
That would be wonderful.
It would. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the haunted side of Mardi Gras. From spirits lingering in old theaters to ghostly figures joining the parades, it's clear that the living doesn't just feel the energy of this celebration. Whether it's the echoes of the past, lost souls drawn to the excitement, or just a little extra paranormal mischief during the festivities, Mardi Gras in New Orleans is more than just beads and king cake.
It's titties too.
And a lot of alcohol.
And while Jen did a great job researching this episode, I do apologize for how off the rails it was. But this is us. And, you know, if you're here, I can only assume you already love us.
Though, you know, so episode that just came out today, when I checked before we started recording, had 16 listens.
16.
We were at like 7, like a couple of weeks ago. Of like the day of, like within like a couple of hours of it being released. We're at 16, Kelly.
Hey, it's moving up. That's all I care about. It's moving up.
16 people like us enough to listen to our episode the day it comes out.
That's amazing.
Right? If you are one of those 16 people, we love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And if you've loved what you've heard, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen. Your support helps us reach more listeners and share even more spooky stories.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at notmyghostpodcast and on Facebook at notmyghost, not my problem. We post updates, photos, show notes, and more.
If you want even more ghostly content, consider joining our Patreon.
Do it.
We have some fantastic excludes. We have some fantastic exclusive perks for our supporters. And if you have ever had a spine-tingling paranormal encounter, share your story with us at notmyghostpodcast@gmail.com.
Do it.
And you will hear it featured on a future episode.
You absolutely will at this point. So do it, because we've only got stories currently in our inbox from Birdie and Katrona. Thank you, Birdie and Katrona. Y'all are the best.
Thank you. Yes.
We are single-handedly keeping our Paranormal Postcards episodes alive.
And we love it. Thank you.
We do. We love it. Send us more. And yeah, so please, anyone else, send us your stories as well if you want to be featured on our episodes with the greats of Birdie and Katrona.
You will be in the presence of greatness.
You will. Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us on this spooky journey into Mardi Gras. If you ever find yourself in the French Quarter during Mardi Gras, keep this in mind.
If it's not your ghost,
it's not your problem.
Until next time, stay spooky
and stay skeptical.